Welcome to the archive. My name is Jason, the archivist adrift, and today I'm finally going to start on this book that Johnny sent me from Johnny's Comic Stuff, and it's a Superman number 54, obviously Golden Age. It's actually a fairly popular cover. Superman as a lifeguard, and he gave me a few books to look at, but this is the one he really wanted me to kind of work on. So we're just going to go leaf through it real fast and see what all the damage is and what all needs to be repaired. So he says, this isn't horrible, just a lot of bad stains. Okay. So I do see right off, right from the start that there is a bit of a stain here. The back of the book, okay, well, it's pretty beat up. Not sure how much of this we'll be able to fix, but maybe we can at least clean up some of this gunk. Looks like it was rubbed on something. We got stains along the tips of the pages here. Okay, so it looks like the cover is attached, but barely. Barely in the staple there. It's actually just underneath the staple. The staples are completely blown out on the top and bottom staple. Oh, there's tape back here as well. Huh. I think there may be some rust on that bottom staple as well, because I think I see some discoloration on some of the pages. All right, well, that's the damage. So trying to figure out what we want to do here. I'm going to go ahead and remove the staples and separate the cover from the inner wraps, and we'll just get to work on the cover then. I think the mission here is we're going to do a cover clean, at least as far as getting the stains out. I'll probably do that with a gel and gum slab. This is what we got to deal with here. Not much paper connecting the front there. And as you can see, we got tape up here, and it runs all the way along to that top staple. And we got water stain going all the way around here. And we got a little bit of water stain over here as well, a bunch of chewed up area. What's interesting about this inner wrap here is that it's not cut flush. It's protruding along the top there. Okay, I want to give the cover here a final rinse. So just a short one here tonight, guys. I was working on this book for Johnny, and it got away from me. It was looking fine. I had it on a gel and gum slab, and it looked really sharp. And then when I went to rinse it, I rinsed it a couple of times. And it was the second rinse that the colors kind of lifted a little bit, and even then it looked pretty good. But I've been working with this new method of using blotter paper for drawing, and when I pulled this up just now, I noticed that it's completely speckled the cover, essentially ruining it. So I feel really really heartbroken when this kind of stuff happens. Johnny, I notified Johnny, and he's so great. Right away, he was like, "Don't worry about it. You know, this kind of stuff happens." He's such a good guy. Okay, well, this is just kind of going from bad to worse to worser. Um, I thought missing a lot more color on the cape here. There was already a lot of color lost on the hair. I thought maybe if I used a makeup pad to kind of polish the book a little bit, it would. Sometimes you can kind of move the ink back into place a little bit, or at least make it look less spotty. That was not the case. It actually just pulled the ink right up. So I just hit this cover with some gelatin sizing. That should keep the ink back in place and should give a little bit of rigidity to the cover once it dries. But it went on pretty thick, and I don't know, it doesn't look great. So I got something I hope will rectify this situation. And even though this book is fairly well past anything I can do to it, there might be something I can do for Johnny instead. And hold on, let me show you. Okay, I'm mic'd up now, and this package just came from Lone Star Comics, which is my comic shop, and it was raining all day today, so it looks like the package got pretty wet. Hopefully the contents are safe inside. Looks like the contents are plenty dry. To make up for the damage that I did to the book I did, I went onto my comic shop and grabbed this book that I want to conserve and give to Johnny. It's kind of like, you know, an apology and a mea culpa for the damage that I did to this great book. Now, this is a classic Superman book. It's got a lot of damage to it. The spine's all jacked up. It's got a little bit of mold on it. But hopefully these are all things I should be able to take care of, and I will be treating this one with, you know, kid gloves as much as I can. The mold presents quite a bit of a risk. Not so much as far as a health hazard to me, that is. I'll make sure that it's completely dead and essentially invisible before I give it to Johnny. But ensuring that the mold is gone from the book will probably require me to do pretty intense cleaning to it. And I'm just hoping that the colors can withstand the stuff that I have to do to it, which wasn't the case with the previous book. Okay, so I think that's a mold stain up here. Maybe here as well. Back looks fairly good. This spine has seen better days. It looks like maybe it was taped at one point and then the tape was removed. It's very badly miscut, which is strange. I mean, not strange for Golden Age books, but okay, here's the mold. We do have mold on the inside of the spine here, and on this first wrap for certain. Yeah, just remove this cover altogether. Let's see how deep this mold goes. Second wrap. Third wrap. All right. I don't think the mold might go all the way to the centerfold here, but really the big issue is it's got some heavy issues with rust here. So, you know, the mold is not as pervasive as the other book I was working on, and it looks like it's mostly on the inner wraps, which will make this a lot easier. I have high hopes for this. Okay, I did the rest of this book off camera. So yeah, there's nothing really more I could do with the cover. I did give it a gelatin sizing. It does have some snapback. You know, what sucks about the fact that I lost the color here is that I could not really remove that much of the staining. It's still apparent, and it's even worse on the inside. I did try to lighten it slightly under blue light, but I didn't want to whiten it, so yeah, it's kind of a mess. I used Tengujo to fix where the tape was at, but oftentimes you can't remove the stain that's left behind by the adhesive. I did wash all these wraps, so they all have been bathed in an aqueous bath, and then there was rust on a number of the pages as well. All that rust has come out. There was black marks or little bits of dirt on all these pages, so I cleaned that all up, and I applied tear seals in a couple of places as well. Okay, well, this sat overnight in the press, so it came out here. Okay, I'm wearing a mask and gloves this time while handling this this gross book. I'm gonna hit this book up with 91% isopropyl alcohol. That should kill any living spores. So I'm going to do a betaine and papain bath to this, but it's going to be open-faced, essentially, where I'm not going to put any Hollytucks on the top. If I have to apply bleach, I'm going to have to do the same way. An open bath, essentially. So this is going to be really hard to do, and hopefully I don't pull up any color, because it will kind of defeat the purpose of this whole project that I'm doing for Johnny. All right. Not certain how much of this is ink and how much of this is just crud from the book or from the cover, but I don't see any color loss. So let's keep it that way. Okay, I got the mask and gloves on, and I'm going to go ahead and hit a couple of these wraps with some isopropyl alcohol. I don't think I've ever seen a rinse look this dark before. Really gross. But about 5 minutes in this bleach bath should clear all that mold out. And all it is about 500 milliliters of filtered water with a tablespoon and a half of Clorox. I heat the filtered water up before I add the bleach. For about 2 minutes in the microwave, and so it's just warm water with bleach, and I'll let it steep in here for about 5 minutes. So one of my latest tools is this great light box that picked up off of Amazon for really cheap. And this is a tool that Captain Larry uses. And so I got the idea from him, and it's genius. So basically what it does is it allows you to see staple holes in areas where you've done some leaf casting. So on this page here, you can see where I turn some light on real fast. You can see where I applied some leaf casting here, and it's hard to make out the staple holes. But when you put it over a light box, where you have a wrap that the staple holes are pretty clear, you can just place it on top and kind of mark out where the staple holes are supposed to go without doing a whole lot of guessing. Okay, so this is a little ridiculous on my part, but I, cleaned up the staples for this book. They were pretty heavily rusted. I used Evaporust to clean them up, and they cleaned up pretty nice. But especially the top staple has a lot of pitting, and when you clean up rusty staples, you remove the protective coating. So there's potential for them to re-rust pretty quickly again. I didn't want to give Johnny a book that would eventually start having issues with rusty staples. So in order to deal with this, probably the easiest thing would be to find some way to coat these staples, but I don't know how to do that. So I ordered a Funny Animals comic from the same era, and it was supposed to get here today on Saturday, but I just got an email that said it wouldn't arrive till Friday. And I've been holding on to Johnny's books for so long now. Really feel kind of guilty about that. So I I drove all the way down to Dayton and went to the Bookery, which is a really great comic book shop, and found this Mutt and Jeff, which is also a DC book, and it's from the exact same year, 1946. And it's a really nice book, but it must take certain sacrifices. So I think I paid $11 for the Funny Animals book that had a ruined cover on eBay, and now I've paid $15 extra for this book. I'm not too worried about it because I know the books will go to good use. I may actually just transplant the staples from the Funny Animal book right into this Mutt and Jeff, because all things considered, I mean, it's not a very valuable book, but it looks really nice. I mean, it's got a pretty banged up corner, and it's got a few issues on the spine, but it looks really clean. So, you know, I don't really collect Mutt and Jeff comics or nothing. But it's interesting, it's got a different logo. They filled in the DC. I believe this is from January of '46, and this is from October of '46. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, January, February, October, November. So by the end of the year, they filled in the DC logo. Interesting. Okay, well, thank you, Mutt and Jeff, for parting with your staples so that we can have a complete Superman number 38. And these staples look really clean, so I'm very happy about this. As for these staples, maybe I'll throw some tape on them and mark, you know, the era or the year. And if I ever figure out a way to like coat staples so I can reuse them, I might do that. So. Okay, I've got the staples in the book. So yeah, there's a miscut on this front cover that, you know, of course I can't get rid of. And I'm trying to fold this so that, you know, it's even without like showing any kind of spine roll or anything like that. For those of you who work on these books, do you find it really difficult to make sure that your pages are lined up so that you got, you know, the front of the book all squared up? Or is it just me? It might just be me. Okay, well, I let the book sit overnight, and it's pretty close to what I want. It's not folded exactly how I want to. There's still some weird jagginess with the pages, so I definitely need to work on that more, I think, in future projects. That said, I'm really happy with how this came out. And I don't know if the after photos will really capture, you know, all the work that was done to this. The staple here is a little too far inset for my liking. I hope there's no issues with that in the future. I hardly lost any color on the cover, which I'm really happy with. There's a little bit of color loss here. It's so small, and it blends in with the yellow really well that you can't hardly tell. But I feel like I've picked up color in a few places, like along this area and up here, especially the areas where, you know, the mold had kind of covered up some of the color. Same with the backside. Not a massive difference, I don't think, from the before and after pictures, but the big deal is that the staple holes are cleaned up and paper's filled in, and it looks much nicer, presents a lot better. On the interior here, the only thing I wish I kind of did differently is I wish I had taken the time to color match the leaf casting to the paper. You know, it's a slightly darker than the actual page color, but CGC doesn't care about that, or so they say. They really care about whether or not it's structurally sound when it comes to conservation. I removed a lot of mold along this page here, and you can barely make out where the stains were once at, but the mold itself is gone. the combination of betaine and glycerin and methyl cellulose has made this paper feel really nice. It's very supple and it feels strong. So yeah, I hope this makes it up to Johnny, and it's a book I'm really actually kind of happy with. I did a lot of work to this. I did more work to this than the book that he gave me to do. I will be sending the other books that he sent me back untouched, unfortunately. I just felt like I didn't want to mess with them. They looked a little too tricky. So, all right, well, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please stay tuned for my next one. As always, I learned a lot from doing this project, so hopefully I can utilize the things I learned on this project in the next ones. So, all right, well, thank you so much. Bye now.